So day one, done a lot of things about happiness, and I don't want it to sound like a gimmick, so let me get into some definitions first. So happiness really is a word I use, a shortcut for just contentment, right? Feeling fulfilled, that what you're doing is right, what you're doing is correct, and that things will be okay, right? That's a feeling of fulfillment that I think can be sustained. A feeling of sort of pure ecstasy all the time and pure joy all the time isn't sustainable over a long period of time. And I don't really necessarily have a strategy for feeling that, short of taking some sort of drugs or something like that, or that type of thing. So I won't get into that. So happiness is really a feeling of fulfillment. I'm on the right road, I'm doing the right things, and a lack of, let's say, derailment, a lack of sabotage from the outside world, where things come at you and you find yourself responding to them better, responding to them more positively, feeling yourself being less hijacked and sidetracked by the things and the inevitable suddenness, or the unknown or the unexpected that comes up inevitably from day to day. So, but if everyone could do it, it'd be, we'd all be successful. So let's talk about some real roadblocks and problems that this approach can help you fix. And then I'll talk about the tools. So situations, to sort of see if, situations hopefully you can relate to, and therefore you'll say, okay, you know what? This is a situation I experience in life. Keeps you listening to the video, hopefully, who knows? And then the tools to help you get through that. So a question came from someone, and so I'll start there. I got some questions. The questions were regarding work and in the workforce and jobs. Now, I've had a lot of jobs, I've lost a lot of jobs, and I've done a lot of different types of jobs. And in all those jobs, what has made me, I guess, who I am is that I spend time, whether it's HR or whatever, listening to people, having conversations with people, observing them, and being the person they come to when they have a problem. So I've seen lots of patterns of behavior, a lot of patterns of frustration, a lot of patterns of sadness. I see a lot of patterns of joy as well, but mostly patterns of frustration, because very rarely are people doing the job they want or in the environment that is best for them. So in a work environment, especially lately, you see the issue of millennials, Generation X, especially generational issues. Managers or executives, either my age or older, are dealing with younger staff who behave differently. And those staff are, they may ask or request things or behave in ways that, our generation or older generation just can't relate to. And the result is, if someone behaves in a way you can't relate to or can't understand, then subconsciously they're wrong. They frustrate you. What they do doesn't make sense. And when things don't make sense, most of us get upset. Typical thing. How do you not get derailed by that type of thing? Additionally, in the work environment, a lot of times the environment, unlike, let's say, your house, for instance, these aren't your environments. You didn't create them. You're not in charge of them. Meaning you can't, on your own, you don't have leeway to sort of control everything and change the environment and make it the environment you want. I mean, raise your hand out there if even your home life reflects everything you want to have in a domestic environment. The answer to that is probably no. Those of you who are lucky to have, a home life that reflects you, congratulations, keep doing that. But in the work environment, in your work life, it's difficult to have that. So there's going to be frustration. There's coworkers you may not like. There's policies you may not agree with. And there are difficulties or just daily issues. The work itself even could be something you don't find very valuable or very nice or reasonable or acceptable. It causes frustration. How do you deal with that, right? How do you find joy when every day can possibly bring you down? So these are some situations, right, where I think these some happiness tools can come in, and those are contentment and fulfillment tools. So like a broken record, I'm going to state what I will probably always state in one way or another in these videos that I do, or in any speech. If you hear me give a speech or a presentation, it's about you, understanding yourself. Now, to move away from cliches and say, like, understanding yourself is the key to everything. Understanding who you are outside of context, right, outside of pressure, is critical for your joy. Give you an example. Just say you're watching TV and everything's good in the world. And you're watching TV and there's something on the news that triggers you. Something bad happened, bad news, a murder, a shooting, politicians behaving badly, people behaving badly in general. It gets you upset, the government or whatever it happens to be. You're just upset about something. That's context, right? If the news had never come on, had you not known about what's going on in the world, you wouldn't be upset. You wouldn't have been derailed. And the question you have to ask yourself, and we've asked ourselves these things, but we rationalize ways out of it is, so why would you get upset just by hearing the news, right? Does it affect you? Does it really make a difference in your life that this happened? The answer is no. It affects the person in the news, but it doesn't affect you. It affects your values. It affects something in yourself that responds to that. So understanding yourself outside of context means, in this context, why did I get upset? Why did it affect me? And understanding what makes you frustrated. So I'll use an example from my own life and explain to you the tools to getting around this. So if I watch the news and I see something that's unjust, right? The part of me that grew up, experiencing bullies will respond emotionally, naturally, subconsciously. Like I get angry and upset as if somehow, and subconsciously, this is what's going on. It's like the world would be better and perfect if this problem didn't happen. And that's a fallacy. That's not true. But my brain is grabbed onto that and I'm unaware of it. My brain is grabbed onto the fact that if this politician just wasn't there, if this problem just wasn't there, the world would be better. And that is not true. There are so many problems in the world. And believe it or not, that politician was gone, your brain would find something else. So the goal is to understand yourself so that you don't get hijacked by the news. You can watch it. You can understand it. You can even emotionally respond to it, but it's conscious. It's not overwhelming. So understanding, like for instance, I know that injustice, the concept itself, unfairness can trigger me for whatever reason. So when I'm watching the news, I practice something upsets me. I'm like, why am I upset? Why is this making me upset? And I go, oh, okay, understood. That's the first step. You're not going to solve all your problems and be calm watching the news just in one go, but you sort of understand what triggers you. Right? Then once you understand what triggers you, you can start to handle that. So today's tool is when you watch something or you're reading something and you feel an emotional response, any emotional response. An example is, I'll give you another example from my own life. I'm in my office, right? My room. I protect it. It's mine. Got my posters and pictures and lots of things up here. When I'm in this room playing my guitar or just chilling, and I can hear my wife or my kids coming into the room, usually I'm okay. But still, those moments where I want to be left alone, and I can feel myself getting anticipating anger and frustration. And I'm like, this is what I do now, right? Before they would come in the room and I'm just like, I feel put upon because I know they're going to ask me for something or they need something, feel put upon. Now what happens is as I sense that happening, actually, I'm far beyond this now, but when I started trying to use these tools to help me, they're becoming like, why am I frustrated? They just want to spend time with me, or they need something, or they feel neglected, or whatever it is. Like, why does that make me upset? Right? Because I want my own time? Maybe. I want to be left alone. I'm stressed? Maybe. Maybe I just want to be away from my problems. That's what it was. I was escaping into my room to get away from my problems, right? Right. So if I decide to just be alone all the time, I'm never going to solve any problems. And life will stay still. I won't be out doing things that I need to get done. So I learned that being in the moment, just being in the moment, makes me feel less frustrated. I have less time to focus on my problems. So I said, I'll give that a try. So when someone would come to me, I'd engage them. What do you want? You all want me to fix something, or you want me to hold you? You want me to pick you up and play with you, or whatever? And I just get involved. And then when it was over, I'd look back and go, okay, what I was worried about before, is it still bothering me? And some of the things that were bothering me were gone, right? I was feeling frustrated because my brain, because I had free time, would focus on a problem and get emotional about it. A problem that wasn't important. But once I started getting involved in other people's lives or just doing something, I started to find that some of the problems would go away. The next step, and this is the importance of knowing who you are, is this started to work for me very well once I started to realize what I love to do, and that is to coach and to help people. So what would happen is I went from, let's try to get involved, right? And I start to see certain problems would go away. Then I started to say, okay, every moment I'm with someone, let me try to coach, right? You know, sometimes coaching is observing. Sometimes coaching is listening. Sometimes coaching is helping. Sometimes coaching is being an example. But go out there with the mindset of, let's go out there and be myself, right? When I'm with someone, being myself, being who I am as a person outside of context. I started to realize that the problems that I had started to go away. They weren't there. It taught me that in being yourself, right, you start to solve your problems, right? You start to be the solution you need in your life by being yourself. And I don't mean being yourself by, you know, you've held in your emotion, you let it out and you get angry or something. I'm like, no, I mean, that's context. That's feeling put upon. That's feeling oppressed and reacting. That is context. Being yourself out, you know, regardless of being yourself, you start to solve your problems as yourself. And the more you are yourself, the more confidence subconsciously you have to continue to be so, and you'll find your problems go away. But I'm not asking you to, that's lesson 18, right? This first one is, when you start to feel an emotional response to something, to anything, ask yourself why. What is going on in my head to make me respond to this? Whether it's a lover, a partner, a spouse, a TV show, your children, a book, the news. Why is that, right? What does that say about me? What does it say about me outside of context? What are my values? And then you start engaging the world based on your values. There are strategies to doing this. We'll talk about those another day. But this first lesson in happiness is truly about observing your responses to things, understanding yourself. That is the first key to finding solutions to your problems and fulfillment on a daily basis. Have a good day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.